After getting both his balls cut off at the hospital, he found out the cancer had already spread. It had spread all through his body, but when he found out, he wasn't even mad. Instead, he clutched the good luck charm his wife had left him and burst out laughing because he felt only a death like this, leaving no descendants behind, could bring some peace to his dead wife's soul. But when he opened his eyes again, what he saw was the old dusty red double happiness paper stuck to the window back home. He quickly searched every corner of the house inside and out and found Claire curled up naked on the old clay bed. Her big eyes were completely lifeless, and her once fair, flawless skin was covered in bruises going every which way. Seeing the woman who had haunted him for most of his life, he was instantly overwhelmed with emotion. He stepped forward and pulled her into his arms with so much guilt and longing to say, but in that moment it all got stuck in his throat and he broke down crying. In his past life, he had set Claire up to fall into the reservoir, so the whole village would see her with her clothes in a mess. After he pulled her out, and to protect her reputation, she was forced to marry him. But from the day Claire walked through that door, she never had a single good day. Under his endless abuse, she took their baby and drowned herself in the reservoir. It was until her brother pulled both mother and daughter out of the water that he finally woke up. After that, he rode the wave of the times and made more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. But the woman whose life had taught him everything was already gone, and just as he was soaking in the joy of his second chance, a piercing scream suddenly rang out, "Get away from me, don't touch me!" Seeing Claire shaking all over, he finally remembered that this time around Claire had borrowed money from her parents to buy baby formula, only for him to snatch it away to buy booze and then come home drunk and brutally hurt her in bed. Thinking about that, he raised his hand and slapped himself hard across the face over and over until blood ran down the corner of his mouth. Claire watched what he was doing in silence and couldn't help but let out a scornful laugh. She had lost count of how many times this had happened after all, every time he sobered up. He would get on his knees and beg for forgiveness, but within 2 days, his fists would find her again. She could endure the humiliation of what he did to her in bed, but she could not stand watching their baby cry from hunger. The baby's weak little cries brought a flicker of life back into Claire's beautiful eyes, and she frantically threw on her clothes and picked up her daughter. But because Claire had been malnourished for so long, she couldn't produce any milk, and the little one wailed even louder. The baby's crying snapped him back to reality, and he jumped out of bed and grabbed his clothes off the floor. "Babe, just wait right here, I'm gonna go get our little girl something to eat," and with that, he took off in long strides toward the little shop at the edge of the village. Old Henry at the shop flashed his yellow teeth when he saw him and asked, "What kind of booze you want this time?" "Old Henry, do me a solid and give me some baby formula. I will pay you back tomorrow." Old Henry heard him asking for credit again, took a good look at the red handprints swollen on his face and didn't say a word. He just reached up and grabbed a bag of formula off the shelf, and after a grateful thank you, he rushed back home, and when he got inside, he found his wife still in the exact same spot he had left her in, and his heart twisted with pain all over again. "Babe, I got the formula," and when she heard him, Claire instantly tensed up, her pale little face filled with fear. "I am warning you, do not even think about selling my daughter, or I will curse your whole family line to die out." Seeing this, he stood there frozen, and it slowly came back to him that yeah, that had actually happened. He had been planning to sell their daughter to a couple in town, to get money for booze. What kind of low-life garbage had he been doing? No wonder he died of testicular cancer. In his last life, he had it coming. So he set the formula down on the beat-up little bed. "I swear I am never gonna sell our girl. Tomorrow I'm heading into town to find work," and with that, he turned and walked out. Once he was outside, he slapped himself hard across the face a few more times. If he remembered right, Claire was going to take the baby and jump into the reservoir this very month. Just thinking about it made his whole body tremble. It was getting dark fast and the house had run out of food. 20 minutes later, he made it to the base of the hill behind the village. He pulled the elastic band out of his waistband and fashioned himself a slingshot. He snapped off a pebble and a dove flapped its wings and took off. In his past life, after he made it big,